What's up, everyone? How's it going? So as always, I'm just gonna wait until we get more people in here. I'm gonna get this the YouTube pop-out chat going here. Oh, what's up? What's up? Yeah, it's funny. I get comments sometimes where one of my 600 or so videos or whatever I have saved somebody in terms of fixing problems. And that's pretty awesome. What's up, guys? So once again, this week I'm going to be skipping the Q&A stuff. I'm not doing the Q&A because I ask stupid questions, and they're just stupid. It's not even worth covering them. So we're just going to go straight to the portfolio reviews. And as always, go to the YouTube link. There's a Discord link, and this is a chat server. You go to the after you join, you click Portfolio Submissions channel right here, and then you just submit your design portfolio, and I will review it and give you tips and stuff. That's how it basically works. So while I wait for some more of these to come through, these portfolio submission requests, yeah, about the Q&A ideas, it's hard for me to come up with good ideas every video. And the format is, I upload a video, and at the beginning of each video, I ask some type of question. I've thought of all the questions myself, but they're difficult to come up with, especially on the spot when I'm trying to get content out, but coming up with a good question is holding me back. So what I did is I created a Q&A ideas channel, and if you have any type of question you want me to ask the YouTube audience, you guys, I'll go ahead and ask it, and I'll credit your Discord username with it. So you could post your questions that you want me to ask the audience in this channel, and I'll take from it. Okay. Second, yeah, today's live portfolio thing is happening on a Sunday, which is a terrible day for any type of releasing content or any live streaming, but I figured better late than never. Usually it's on Fridays, but this last Friday, I was all jacked up. I mean, long story short, I woke up at like 4:50 a.m. that morning. I don't usually wake up till 8 or so. I had to pee, and then I came back, and I tried to go back to sleep. I couldn't, and then I felt like I was going to jump. I had to jump out of my skin. This huge amount of just anxiety came over me. I think it was like an anxiety/panic attack or something. And that probably has to do with the fact I've been consuming way too much caffeine. So I've cut it out entirely. No more coffee, no more damn Red Bulls, no more 5-hour energies. I was overdoing it, and I think that's the issue. So I actually feel better, but boy, that was tough. I went to the gym to try to work off the stress or whatever I didn't know what I was feeling. I went to the gym at like 5:20 a.m. I never do that. I ran around my neighborhood a little bit. Nothing would help except to go to my parents' house and get some anti-anxiety medication, and then it knocked me out for 3 hours, and I just felt like crap the rest of the day. I couldn't do the Q&A thing. But yeah, that's behind me now, fortunately, because that really sucked ass. All right, let's go here to the portfolio. I'm going to real quickly get up my chat, make sure everything's still working. Okay. All right. So we had a few earlier before I began, and I'll just start there. Also, if I don't get to your portfolio review, which I definitely will with whoever's here at the time being, but as people start submitting more portfolios, I do this for like around an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. If I don't get to yours and you really want me to do it, you can send a super chat and I will do it before I conclude today's session. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to start with Amir. Yeah, right here. I'm going to open this up. I'm always going to open these up off screen just to make sure nobody's trolling me with like porn or anything. And all right, so this looks legit, fortunately. All right, so already right off the bat, I have we have the little the blockchain Vertus things happening in the background. But you know what? This is fine. It's barely even noticeable. You can barely see this, so that's fine. All right. Sorry, this thing's loud. I'm trying to readjust it. So first thing off the bat that I'm noticing here is this big flower thing. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know if it's a little bit redundant being that it's already right here. I might try to figure out something else to put in here, maybe just a simple type element. Now, right here, the most important / functional part of this layout is, you know, the part that you want people to take action, or the call to action, is right here. And it's kind of an afterthought, you know, because you have all the emphasis placed on this logo, but then this is kind of down here. It doesn't really stand out much at all. I would reverse those rules and somehow, so to really make this stand out much more. All right. Start, type your movie name and then press enter. All right, so yeah, Event Horizon. That was one of my favorite movies when I was younger. All right, so just looking at this page alone, that's what I would change for the landing page. Definitely change up, place more emphasis on this area right here, and then probably take this down a notch. Other than that, contrast is good. The color is good. Yeah, so there's more correct happening than there is wrong. All right, so that was lab. I'll look at this too real quickly. I don't usually like to do multiple reviews for the same person. Yeah, this is gonna definitely need some work here because a few things are happening. This background, even though you have some opacity on this black overlay, it still makes this text a little bit hard to read. So if you're gonna keep this background, make this a little bit darker. All right, so I would adjust that. The skills, portfolio, about me, contact. I feel like I've seen this exact layout before. I think I recently did a review based on exactly this same type of layout, where there's this container with a header and a big avatar and then a title and then this stuff down here. I'm not sure if this is some type of template that's being used that's popular or something, but I'm not really a fan of how it's structured. The navigation up at the top with this big avatar, it feels like there's not much of a structure between these different elements. You know, just at the top we have some links, and then right here is here, and then it feels like I would take an entirely different approach, simply because it does seem like multiple people are using this, unless you're the same person. So yeah, I would try to maybe go a different route, and maybe even go to Google and type design portfolio gallery or designer portfolio galleries or something like that and get some different ideas. All right. All right, we'll open this one up from X Samurai. All right. We definitely have something interesting happening here. All right, let's see. Okay. Look at that. All right, my one issue with this right off the bat is they always say, and one thing I've always learned, or I've always heard, is that, and it makes sense, you know, when somebody lands on your website, and I don't care for what purpose it is, even if it's to be creative, they should have a pretty solid idea of what exactly the purpose of this website is about. And so the one way that you can do this is to add at least some type of like a headline right here that says something. It won't take away from all the creative elements occurring here, but it will address that one issue. Because sometimes people say, what is this? I'm not even going to scroll down. What is this thing? You know, a lot of people aren't intelligent, so or they're lazy, so they're just going to come here and they're like, oh, what's happening? You know, so I would put like a subheadline, like a headline right here somewhere. That kind of just addresses, you know, what's happening here. All right. Yeah, I would put this up there, right there. All right. Kind of just scrolling down here and checking things out. All right. All right. So overall, it's pretty solid. When you come down here, though, it's getting pretty cluttered. I mean, we have just a continual amount of differently styled type. So we have, let me introduce myself, and then we have this style type, and then we have a bold version of this, and then we have an italic plus, you know, orange sort of bold text underneath it, and then we have this section right here, which is another headline, same as that, and there's no separators between, you know, especially these two sections, when up here you were following a convention where you were separating things with these Bezier curves here, and this is separated, and then it just kind of gets thrown off a bit. So I would try to stick to the theme consistently of separating your content in one way or another. As long as it's consistent, that would be ideal. No, but definitely unique, interesting stuff happening here. I would say maybe tone it down a notch on the Bezier curves, especially right here, because you're giving up a lot of space. I understand that there's a slope here. It also looks like you're using a PNG, it's a raster, or something that's rastered. You should definitely use an SVG for this, because I can see it on just a browser 1920 by 1080 resolution. I could see the pixelation occurring here. All right, thanks for the submission, Samurai. We'll check out Behance here. Every now and then I do like to look at the chat, make sure my audio didn't go out or something. All right, cool. Wow, 157 people on a Sunday. I was not expecting it. I was expecting like 40 people. All right, so all right, let's check this one out. It looks like this individual is all right, so it doesn't seem like there's a specific sort of focus or design niche focused here. Let's do this one down here. I'll do a couple of them. All right, if this is your photograph, that's pretty solid to me. Although I'm not a photographer. Now maybe it's the logo that you did, that you put up here, like through Photoshop. Yeah, the logo is actually pretty solid. I like this. Let's check out another one. We'll do responsive cards. Good looking card design here. Code pen link. All right, there we go. All right, so these are responsive. Looks pretty solid to me. Yeah, definitely good overlay, good contrast. And I'll do one more, and then we'll conclude. I could see kind of this, what's the Sci-fi UI? All right. Yeah, definitely has that sci-fi feel. Yeah, this is pretty solid. I mean, from what I've seen so far, in terms of identity design and UI design, it looks like, you know, there's not a ton here for me to look off of and to judge, but this looks pretty solid to me. Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Keep at it. Let's see here. We'll do this one. All right, I'm going to refresh this. All right. So at this resolution, This is a little bit, there's too much separation happening between this element right here and this element. So I would try to bring them together. And that's the thing. That's why it's important to test a layout at all resolutions, because sometimes if it looks good at whatever you're working with, then it may end up not looking good at another one. And this obviously is a problem as well. When we have this line, the type sitting on top of each other. So I would just work on that specifically. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the transition that's occurring here when you hover over, because for a second you see this gray, or a split second you see the gray and the yellow mix, and it doesn't look good. So I would make that instant. Get rid of the transition animation occurring there. Also, the type here with this rate, I would separate this more, because visually it's too similar to this to the navigation right there. I mean, it looks way, it's too much of a run-in, too much clutter. So I would even get rid of this possibly, because you already have your logo, and that's all that really matters. Coming down here, you need to separate things out more white space. There's just a lot of stuff, a lot of type that's happening too quickly. It's hard for the eye to judge, where I should be looking. So separate things out big time, vertically, with vertical like margin top and margin bottom between a lot of these elements, and quite a bit so. Like this Our Mission, I would be pushing this down about, on this resolution, I'd be pushing this down about 2 to 3 times more than what it is from the bottom of this container and the top of this container. All right. All right, who is next? Who is that? Tech. All right, we're going to open this. Another Behance. All right, these look pretty solid right off the bat. All right, pretty solid. Nothing really too much to critique here. Yeah, everything sticks out pretty well. I would say just on this right edge where the orange gets a little bit more dark and saturated. Slightly clashes with this purple, but not too much. Yeah, this is pretty solid from what I'm seeing. I don't really have too much to critique. Oops, sorry about that. Open that up again. Let's check out a couple others. This is solid. Yeah, these are all really solid here for what they are. Let's try out a GIF. Yep, awesome. Yeah, there's not much I can give you in terms of advice. I mean, this all looks like the work of somebody who knows what they're doing in the UI design world for sure. Yes, awesome, awesome, awesome. Yep, I hate not being able to really provide constructive feedback to some people, but hey, if you're, at a level like this, then there's not too much I can offer you outside of the realm of being objective or subjective. If I were to give you advice, it would be just based on my own personal taste, which, that doesn't help anybody. So yeah, let's check out another one. All right. I've seen this before, I think I've seen this before. Did you leave a comment here? All right, well, we'll see. All right, WD water or material. What am I talking about? WD material social network. All right, so I'm not exactly certain what I'm looking at. If this is a intended to be a social network of some sort, but assuming this is on a GitHub IO page, so you did design everything yourself. I mean, for what this is, the top navigation is all solid. Good icons, good white space between all the elements. It looks like this is supposed to be some type of like social network UI of some sort. Doesn't look like anything works at this point in time, but yeah, this is I mean, for looking at it just from a pure design aesthetic, this is pretty solid if it's supposed to be like a user profile of a social network. Interesting, cool animations here. Good card design that I see. Yes, very nice. I'll check out the second link that you have as well. Open link. All right, so this is another one here. All right, so this is some sort of a design for a movie site. You know what I would do is see if you could do some type of horizontal scroll bar replacement design. I was never a big fan of the default ones. Obviously, if you're using like a dark UI, so integrating a custom scroll aesthetic would really help this, because this just kind of throws everything off the default browser variations. Looking at this, I would try to figure out a different way to separate your titles from sub copy or subtitle text. Same thing with over here. It gets a little bit cluttered, so I push things down a little bit. Maybe decrease the opacity very slightly, or change them to a very light hue, a blue color right over here. That way it'll separate even more the titles from your content down here. But yeah, overall pretty solid. So there's not much, good call to action here. Pretty easy to see search bar. So yeah, pretty solid. Let's do this one. All right, let's refresh that. We got some type of animation occurring here. Somebody's running. All right. Okay. All right, let's, okay, so you can't scroll down. All right, so I'm not too certain about this area right here. It feels like it's, seems like it's some type of logo, perhaps. I'm not sure, but it doesn't seem like, maybe it's not a logo. It's just like, I don't know, something random. I would take it off if it really serves no purpose, and just move this stuff up, this little nav area. And if you're gonna have it that wide, then I would provide some context with the icons, because I don't necessarily know what this means right here, this little chart thing. Yeah, this is a home icon, but you know what? If you have that much space, you can put little, a caption right here, like home, whatever this is supposed to be, projects. So if that means projects, put projects right here underneath it. Just small type, and then contact down here. And that would make it a little bit easier to understand. I would also probably change this color, because this color, this greenish bluish color, is conflicting. It doesn't work well with this desaturated blue over here. So I would figure out a different color for that as well. Other than that, I would give a little bit more white space at the bottom of these cards, because it's too close to the bottom of the type. So I mean, you have a lot at the top, but not a lot at the bottom. I always see this in all of these portfolio reviews I do, uneven margin and white space occurring. So definitely try to make everything consistent in that regard. All right, and I would try to rework this a little bit. I'm not a fan of centering form elements like the labels in relation to the names and stuff. I would put this right over here, and then might as well just use the full width of the container, maybe starting right here all the way to here for those widths, for the width of these elements, and then just fully expand this out possibly as well, or left align it. All right, thanks for that. we got a dribble link here. Let me check my YouTube stuff, make sure everything's going good. 165. All right. Okay, so all right, so users from India. Okay, looks like a lot of UI design stuff. Let's just check a few of these out. I have to tilt my head to look at this kind of. From what I see here, it looks pretty solid. Good illustration added here. Good call to action. Easy to see area for the text field. Nice drop down. Good headline, sub-headline separated out pretty well. Good navigation. Yeah. Nothing really too much to critique there. So that's good. We'll check this one out. All right. Now this is, from what I see, unfortunately I can't expand it anymore. But yeah, I like this this use of the curves, because I did a video recently on 2018 design trends, and Bezier curves in UI design are a really hot topic right now. But this is done pretty well. It's not done in like an overly crazy, cheesy manner. So it looks pretty good. Yeah, looks like you have all the fundamentals down. So there's not too much that I can say from an objective standpoint that you're doing wrong. Oh, I recognize this from one of my tutorials. I did something similar to that. I think I did, yeah, a cryptocurrency thing. Let's see here. Looks like you started to improve up here compared to some of the ones down here, possibly. Oh, here's a GIF. All right, that's pretty good. But yeah, I definitely focusing on doing more of what you have going on, you know, up here in these ones, for sure. Good stuff. Beginner UI designer. All right, here we go. Let me close these other tabs. Sorry, I'm like burping in the microphone. All right, so yeah, well, you know what? At least here we don't have the entanglement happening here, the little vertices and stuff. This is more of just a general. Yeah, I like this because it's pretty subtle, but there is movement. For a designer so far, just from this, I mean a new UI designer, this is pretty solid from what I see. I might separate these three types of type right here out a little bit more. You have your name, and then your title, and then a description. The title and description are good, but this right here doesn't contrast enough with your name. So I would figure out a different way to contrast that. You could do a lot of different things. You can make it all typecased and then make it like a smaller font size, or you could leave it as it is and make this bold. And maybe push down this text a little bit more. So there's a multiple things that you can do. Good hover change on there. Pretty solid. So, wait, did that just show up out of nowhere? Where was that before? Oh, well, interesting. Well, here's the portfolio. All right, I like this part up here with the back arrow. I might put these in cards. Just because they it's real close to being good as it is, but I think it might be a little bit better to put them in cards, or if not put them in cards, maybe separate them out vertically just a little bit more, because we have the type here for the button, and then we have the next one down here. But really, pretty solid as is. Let's check out the contact form. This is solid too. Yeah, overall really good, especially if you're a new UI designer. Good stuff. Well, apparently something didn't work out correctly there. I'll look at that later. All right, we'll do this one. Good day. All right. So first of all, this looks a lot better than this. So what I would do is on these larger viewport resolutions, make sure this background expands as well, because now it's just kind of thrown off. Okay, my Android Bixby thing turned on. It's like started recording everything I'm saying. Like, what? All right, but looking at this outside of that, I'll just look at it at this like this, probably how it's intended to look. Let me refresh this, see what happens. Oh, okay, I see what's happening. So when you refresh it, it will adhere to that. But I would make it so that it's also responsive in the sense that if I change up my browser, it would adapt to that automatically. All right, so this is also a different approach. We also had somebody earlier who had these icons here, but there was no text, not even when they overlaid. But this is an alternative approach that you could take so that the hover state changes and it lets you know what's happening. I would probably move these up a little bit more up here. And that way, well, no, maybe it works as it is. Let's check out the About page. All right, that's cool. So these actually animate and adjust. I like that. But looking at this for this green and how it gets real light here, it's kind of hurting my eyes when trying to read this white text. So I would make it so that the darkness of this is quite a bit darker, so that you can have more contrast and make it better here. I would also push down skills from here because it's a little bit, it runs on a little bit too much. So push that down quite a bit. Projects, same thing, needs to be darker up here. Yeah. Some of these thumbnails makes it hard to read the titles because it's almost white on, you know, like gray. So I'd figure out a way to fix that. In the contact page. Yeah, again, just space things out more vertically since we have all the room here as it is. Yeah, everything's just kind of scrunched up top there. All right, thanks for that. Matho.me. All right, here we got some more vertices. This time it's they're triangles instead of circles. That's something new. I haven't seen that before. All right, let's come down here. Okay, this seems pretty solid. Let's come down more. Yeah, there's not too much negative happening here. I mean, I like the type. Let's check out the menu. Okay. You know what I would do though on these larger resolution like this? I would just show these by default because I thought you might have like a sidebar coming out with a bunch of stuff. But if it's just a simple navigation like this, I would show it by default, and that way it reduces one click a person would have to take, so they can access these areas just with one click as opposed to two. Overall, pretty solid though. Yep. This though, the vertices, I would either get rid of those completely or take down the opacity big time, because it's too much happening in my opinion. It's taken away from this important element right there. Plus everybody's doing this right now. So, all right, let's go to Mr. Yeah, this one. Damn, dude. Commit to be fit. All right. My super trainer. Oh, okay. I thought that was you. I thought that was like a personal portfolio. Oh, I should get out of the way. Everybody can see how ripped that dude is. All right. Commit to be fit. Let's click learn more, see what's happening here. Hey, maybe it is you. All right. Good stuff. Yeah, this is a little bit jumbled. It looks a little bit, you're not sure what's happening here. Like this right here should probably be right here underneath this name. and then just put this stuff, like center it at the bottom. So put this up over here, because it'll work there if you're gonna have your like an avatar or your picture, your photograph this large. You have all the room right here to put this. Then it wouldn't be so jumbled. Testimonials, okay. Pretty good card-based design. All right. I would make this extend all the way, by the way, all the way to the right and left. For your menu up here, I would separate these out so that they're not so cluttered together in this manner. My super trainer, I would definitely try to get them a unique logo, or yourself. I'm not sure who that is, if that's you or not, or if that's for a client. The commit to be fit, that this is good, but then this learn more right here is way too much close to it. I would push that down by a good 100 pixels at least. Yeah, thanks for that submission. Let me take a breather here for a second and check out the YouTube stuff. Make sure everything's going good. 190, good stuff. By the way, I know that's like coffee, and I'm not drinking caffeine anymore. It's just water in there. So, all right, let's continue on. How long have we been doing this? 36 minutes. All right, so let's keep on. Like I mentioned, I'll mention it one more time. If I don't get to your portfolio, you can send a super chat, and that guarantees I will do it before I conclude today. All right, my super trainer was last. Let's do this one. No, not copy. Open it. There we go. What do you prefer, day or night? Well, what if I don't prefer day or night? Oh, you mean for the UI? Okay. All right, that's cool. When you have this amount of space, it makes sense to space things out more. Everything is unnecessarily cluttered right here in the middle. So I'd be pushing stuff down, like for instance, oops, what am I doing? I would take this button, margin top is 1 rem. Man, you could go 4 or 5 rem units. And then push this down a little bit as well. Wait. Oh, that's the H1 element. Margin bottom. Something like that. That looks better in my opinion. This, if I refresh, it's just a little bit too cluttered. Oh, that's a small gripe. Let's do day. Hit continue. All right. This is pretty solid, like the unique type here. This type it complements it well, even though it's quite different. It works well. Let's continue on. Nice sort of animation happening. I would space this out more because these elements a tad bit too close to this education. Although that's a minor gripe. I would push it down maybe by like 50 pixels. This is pretty. I would probably make these subtitles here stick out a little bit more. I mean, it's quite a bit on the lighter side for me. But now we have an issue though where I can't scroll up anymore. I'm trying to scroll up and I can't go back up. And it feels like I should be able to do that without having to go about, here. Let's try that. All right, this works pretty well. All right, overall pretty solid. Thanks for that. Oh, that was your classmate's project, so that wasn't you. All right, we'll check this one out. Very serious look here. All right, let's see here. Let's scroll down and check what else is happening. There's a lot of type happening here. which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I think things could be probably spaced out a little bit more because there's a lot happening here. This isn't too bad, but I think one issue is sometimes it's hard for me to pinpoint what's happening, but I think if we take this heading element and we change the font size from 0.8 EM maybe to 1.5 EM, that'd be a bit better. And it would just make it a little bit easier to follow. It creates more separation between your different elements. This down here, it's a little bit too cluttered right between the name and all of these icons. So I would take those icons, margin bottom, really push them down more, and that way people will be able to easier see that what's occurring. I would also make this a little bit darker and then also a little bit larger. And if you did that, it would be worth probably making this a little bit larger when I was at that viewport resolution. But now, as you can see, things are spaced out a little bit better. So if we refresh, that's what it was before. It's just a little bit too condensed down there. And then just make sure these are larger. But other than that, everything looks pretty solid. The skills section, there's not enough of a separation between the skill and then how you're elaborating on it underneath in parentheses. So I would make these bold or do any number of things to create separation between these two elements visually. All right. Thanks for that. All right, who's the next one? Oh, all right. Okay, here we go. Here we go, everybody. Let's refresh. All right, so definitely get rid of the little vertex thing, just because A, it's overdone. Everybody's doing this, and B, the way you've implemented it it's tough. It's making it hard to read. A little bit disorienting, you know, with the the fact that it follows the mouse movement. Outside of that, the hello, this stuff right here, I would take your background photograph and either really brighten it up and make it like a very faded watermark, and then you can keep this text the way it is, because then it would have more contrast, or do the opposite, make it really dark as a dark watermark. I can't even talk today. Watermark, and then the text on the top, I would change this stuff, the type that's currently black, and change it to white, and that way it would have more contrast. Because right now it's not working. It's like in this in-between phase, and it's kind of hard to see. So I would change that. Let's come down here. All right, so again, on this large viewport, you want to have more white space at the top of your element and the bottom of between the bottom of this element and the top of this text. I would push this stuff down quite a bit more from the bottom of the about page. I would left align the content in this right column right here in the second column. Having it centered when there's two columns, it just throws things off. So left align that stuff. Again, more white space up here. And I would separate these out individually. And I also would not have this very dark overlay happening when you're hovering over. Kind of just, it's way too disorienting. But I would separate these out with margin between these elements to create a separation between each one of the areas that you can click on. Down here, the contact form looks pretty good, like that. But yeah, just address some of those issues, and it will improve. All right. All right, continuing on. And we're at 45 minutes, so I'm going to have time for a couple more. And if you really want me to do it, just send a super chat and I'll do it before I conclude. Okay. Right here, things are a little bit cluttered in a sense that you're not sure where I should be looking at first. So if I were to adjust this real quick, personally, I'd be taking the name. I'd probably make it bold. What am I doing? Wait. Making it bold. That's one immediate change that would help things out. You have enough room, so I would do margin bottom 50 pixels here. That way it separates out your name, your title from this area right here. And then I would put margin bottom on this down here as well to separate this. And I would probably give this more room and left align them instead of having them all centered in that fashion. All right, and let's see what else here. And then you have a lot of space here, and you're not really utilizing it. So I would rework these these thumbnails and probably put them in a card-based layout, make them larger, and that way you can also provide underneath them. Just I would go to Google and type in card layout design gallery or something like that. Give you different ideas of how you could structure card layouts. You know, with your thumbnail along with a title and maybe like a little subtitle, and that way it'll give you much more content because it's lacking. There's not enough content here, so I definitely do that. I'm not sure if I'm too much of a fan of the stroked area right here. Also, the contact. This looks like a link, but it's supposed to be like the heading of the current page. But the fact that it's underlined, it makes it think that you should click on this. So I would get rid of the underline. And then also I would notice how everything's kind of just scattered. You know, we have this over here, and then we have this that's centered in its own column that's like this large in this section. I would left align all this stuff. So this all starts on the same area vertically. And then that way the layout will flow a lot better. All right, so thanks for that. All right, let's see here. That was 000 web host. Open link. All right, so, okay. Now, well, all right. It says the site was designed with Wix.com website builder. That's fine. Okay. I'm just gonna scroll down here and see what's happening. All right, so these are obviously thumbnails of past works, but I would definitely, instead of trying to use the Wix.com website builder, which I never used it before, to try to start from scratch, I would probably use one of their existing templates. I believe they do have templates. Probably a bunch of templates that are predefined, that are pretty well designed, and I would probably just start from there, because as the time being at this point in time, there's a lot of issues happening here. Like these thumbnails are just having your page be a bunch of thumbnails, and especially which they seem like they're not even organized in a consistent, coherent manner. They kind of just feel like they're scattered there, even though there's two columns. I would probably start from a different point. Maybe that was just their portfolio page. Okay, so there's nothing else there. So I'm trying to gather, you know. Okay, so if you do click, there is some other information that starts. But yeah, I would try to rework this. You know, and I would go to Google and I would type in designer portfolio galleries or something like that to try to get other ideas. Just because there's too much or not enough happening here to give me any solid ground to provide you with enough feedback, because all I have is just, you know, these thumbnails and all of that. So sorry I wasn't able to help more. Okay. Still working on this. All right, by the way, guys, this is going to be my last one. My throat's starting to hurt from talking for like an hour. And this is the last time I'll mention. If you guys do want, somebody wants me to do one, just do the super chat thing, and I'll do it. Here's the last review for today. So looking at this is definitely more of a unique take, having the name and then this right here. I think it works though. All right, let's continue on. The way you have this blue underline so far from the About Me type, it's kind of throwing things off for me. So I would either remove it entirely, which I would probably remove it. Yeah, I would remove it. If I didn't remove it though, I'd move it closer up to the top, and then make sure you do have a good amount of white space underneath it before this begins. Let's see here, project 1, 2, and 3. I assume you just don't have those projects yet, so that's why you have that there instead of like a thumbnail, which would be a little bit more relevant. This is getting way too cluttered down here, so definitely push this stuff down a lot more. Well, interesting animations occurring though. All right. Other than that, pretty good. All right. I'm going to take a look at some of the YouTube comments. And if I didn't get to yours, just submit it for the next portfolio review. And I'm considering this time around maybe not doing a portfolio review for this coming week. And I might do some sort of a contest or something, or design challenge. I'm not sure yet. I got to figure that out. So let me check out the comments here. Oh, we do have a super chat. Thanks a lot, Wagner. All right, now I'm gonna make sure I don't have any more that I didn't see. All right, just that one. So let's check this out. All right. Interesting animation. Now, the first thing I would change is it takes quite a while for this to show up. So initially, when I load it, we're waiting, and then it finally starts. I would make that all this stuff show up immediately, or begin that animation sequence immediately when the site is loaded. All right, this element right here, it kind of almost feels, because it's so dark and the background's kind of darker, it feels like it's a part of the image possibly, but because it's an important element, obviously, I would make this stand out more. So it looks like your primary color is this greenish type color. I wonder if I can grab that code anywhere. If I take this and I make the color, let's see if I can grab this color here. It's being very difficult for me. Where the hell is it? Oh, come on. Yeah, that's not gonna work, is it? Of course. I'll just type in a similar color. That way it sticks out more that way. It's clashing, obviously, because it's a different color. That's my wife calling me. And then also definitely push it down. So not push it down, but push the stuff underneath of it down. Oops, margin bottom 100 pixels. I keep on messing that up. Okay, that's not affecting that, obviously. Why is that not working? Display block. Why am I not able to adjust that? What is happening here? Oh my God, be quiet. Oh, it's an SVG element. Sorry about that. That's why. It's having a hard time with that. Left, top. There we go. The top we can adjust to like 340 or 300 pixels. There we go. Now it's spread out quite a bit more. It's not so close to the top of that. Let's come back out here. So we went from, we're going to just check out how it was. So this is my changes, and then this is what it looks like after when the animations come in. So definitely go back to my approach where you make this stand out and you separate things out more. I would also make this text larger just because you're able to. Right here, this works right here. I'm wondering. Okay, it still works because it's dark on that area. But if this type started to overlap in this area on this desk, this light portion, it would be hard to read. Let's come down here. About Wagner. All right. I would separate things out more. This part's solid. This part's solid, but then, and because notice how much white space you have between this element and then this type right here. But then things get crammed up as you go down here when you have this section right here and then this section. So I would separate things out a little bit more. Also, I might even left align these because these two items are left aligned, and then all of a sudden this is centered and it throws off the flow of the design. One other way you can combat that is if you left align these, but you could separate them all out so that 5 of them are taking up the whole space. Same thing with these. You could do that possibly as well. This is solid. Good white space at the top of this container, at the bottom as well. The card designs are effective. Kind of has like the material design sort of shadows here. Yeah, all this stuff is working out well. Data visualization, I would make that all caps as well because that throws off the flow. Because these two are our title case. All right, and then one thing that's an issue here though is if you come down here, you look at this type like this for instance, and then you look at this type. This is unnecessarily too large, and it's also creating an inconsistency in the type appearance and how it's structured. There's no reason you couldn't probably use this same font size for this type right here. All right. Interesting, sort of like a little card design here. I'm not sure if I would hide the description right away. I might just have that show up by default, and maybe use the standard convention where you have the tag along with the title at the top. But other than that, pretty solid. Thanks for the super chat. Hopefully I was able to help. All right, let me check out the YouTube chat here. Oh, we got another one. Sweet. Check Discord PM when you get a chance. All right, I will do so. Thanks a lot. All right, so that is going to be it for today. Let me check out the stream section stuff. Is it really 190 people consistently watching? Because it has not changed at all. Oh well. We're at 59 minutes, so I think this is going to be a good time to probably end it. Why Indian guys don't use CSS properly. I'm sure there's a lot of other people who don't either. All right, I'm gonna head out, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, So yeah, I'm not sure yet if I'm going to be doing a challenge or a portfolio review. Either way, join the Discord server and idle in there, and you'll find out, and I'll let you know in the news section, the news channel, what I plan on doing for that. I'll have to think about what I want to do. So, all right. Thanks a lot, guys. I will see you later.